Hi, Furry here. Just wanted to explain some things and kind of just give some full disclosure about what happened. Apparently, I turned some music up too loud, and it happened to essentially kind of ruin the video when I initially posted it. So I have to now re-upload it and just get rid of that problem that I made with the other one. So this one is completely ear rape free, and you can just listen to it without having any concerns for your ears. I really do apologize for anyone's ears that I destroyed in that whole thing, and I hope you enjoy the video.
Hello, welcome to the Dragon Quest IX Iceberg. Just as promised, this will be the final part, so with that, I hope you'll like or dislike, comment, subscribe, and join me in. The Starflight Express is a play on the Starlight Express. I forget if I mentioned this, but the Starlight Express is one of the player's forms of transport, which is the typical final form of transport in the Dragon Quest games, which is the best form as it allows the player to go from ground level, which is good because this allows the player to reach certain areas that cannot be accessed through previous means, unless you need to be in that area. But the show or play that goes by the Starlight Express is, to my knowledge, about trains and seeing how the series likes to make many references to real life, so there's a good chance that the Starflight Express is a play on the Starlight Express. Pava doesn't ascend to the stars after the game ends. As mentioned in part 1, Pavo is Aquila's sibling and twin, but at the end of the game, Celestians disappear and are sent to, I forget where, but they just disappear by what the entry implies, to the stars. When you go to the Quester's Rest in Stornway, you see everyone, including Pavo for some reason, which I can only assume is because of the whole you're the player and always need to have access to the multiplayer. The whole Corvus Maiden, the Gittingham Palace, is in Serena's death flashback. I know which flashback this entry is talking about since it's the final flashback before Serena and Corvus leave and rest in peace. She shows us and Corvus what happened. And before the POV zooms in on Serena's body, it shows a hole right next to her, which is the hole this entry is talking about. Hoemi Table. This seems to be an exploit in the game that requires a lot of calculation. This is the best way to obtain 2% drops for Grotto bosses and must be used before entering the boss's floor. A character must be at a point where around 6 heals can't fully heal them. Can't. You quick save, turn off the game, turn it back on, and load the quick save. Use a calculator and insert the main healer's magical mending, which will give you an average for the mending. This is used on a completely separate website, by the way. You use heal, the normal heal spell, to heal the character 6 times, but not to full health. At the bottom of this calculator, there will be a link. If there's more than one, then just heal and enter the value until there's only one link. Otherwise, restart. Click JavaScript. A table will show, and I guess you'll be on square number 6, and you will want to be on square number 9. Apparently multi-heal is 4 squares and omni-heal counts for 8. Now you fight the boss, but cannot use coup de grace as it will ruin the calculation. Once you defeat the boss, it should drop the 2% drop. And for Alchemiracle, you'll follow the same steps and can stop before either a blue or red square, which will allow you to create 5-star gear 100% of the time. Dragon Quest IX is the most important game. I'm not sure what implies this, seeing as all of the games are great in their own way, especially seeing how Dragon Quest VIII is more preferred by the community. Checking the blue tree after the end credits. The blue trees are the original way to call the Starflight Express, before obtaining Sterling's Whistle. But after finishing the game, you can interact with the tree and it will show you a special message, which I can't find at all since everyone just glazed over it because the game ended and they finished the game. Unique sprites for the skeleton NPCs. This is yet another entry that I don't have to look up because it's also on the iceberg image, but the skeleton NPCs in the game have a special sprite, which I guess is to help you know that there's something interactable with that specific skeleton. Katarina returns to visit Fleming. I'm not sure if this means that she just visits after she was fulfilled and put to rest, but I know that she does visit Fleming, to my knowledge, from time to time. Sterling and Stirling connections. Honestly, I looked this entry up when I first saw it, and the only noticeable connections that I saw were the English and Japanese names. The Japanese names are Agiros and Agirogos. Sorry if I butchered that. As well as the fact that both have this weird chest plate thing, which has a similar symbol on the front. But that's about it. Xenos cursed Godwin or Corvus to enact the destruction of humanity. I'm not sure what implies this, especially since I looked this up and I really could not find anything, especially in the wikis with Corvus and Godwin. So honestly, I think this one's just made up. Bodura grass have eyeballs. So for the eagle-eyed viewers, no pun intended, the Bodura grass I showed in the last video for the iceberg had a sensor, and that was because I was saving that for this part of the iceberg, and it was so that I could show this on here, which, trigger warning for those that have a thing for eyes, since the Bodura grass looks like this. Honestly, I vaguely remember first obtaining this and being uncomfortable by it pretty briefly. Dragon Quest IX 2. This was another I looked up before I got to this part of the iceberg. At first I thought I saw something that mentioned this, but now I can't since there was a lot of things that it could mean. But as of now I can't find anything other than the fact that this could be referencing the fact that there was a hoax that the game required a second card to play the rest of the game, which was only spread, I don't know, for fun, which kind of makes me think of...
What are you doing?
I'm posting false information on the web.
Why?
It's fun.
The missing carriages for the Starflight Express. This is just about how the carriages go from 7 carriages to 3 carriages in the game. Dragon Quest IX's early build was cursed and sent to space. So as I was conducting research for the last 2 parts, I discovered there was an interview that actually mentioned this, but there was no mention of the build being cursed, let alone sent to space. It just didn't perform as well, so they reworked it. Celestria planned to overthrow Xenos from the beginning. I'm not sure how the conclusion for this was made, but I have noticed Celestria is empathetic towards everything, and even to the point that she prevented the destruction of the Protectorate, and turned herself into a tree, and forced Xenos to have to release her. The tree in Zir is a second world tree. I don't know why this one is considered a second world tree, even though there is a second world tree on the other side of the map. In fact, this tree even drops Yggdrasil leaves, which is horrifying in context, but on top of that, the tree also has some relation to Stella, which I'm not sure how yet. I only barely got the DLC on my game, but I also should mention that Stella is related to Celestria in some way, considering that Celestria is in the game. I'm not sure if I even mentioned this at all. The hero dies crashing into Angel Falls, and everything past that point is a dream or journey into the afterlife. I have one question for the audience. Can we stop making these types of plot points / theories? It's kinda getting old and unoriginal. Like, you can only hear a childhood game or show was secretly implying that all or most of the characters are dead or in a coma, so much until it gets old and annoying. Anyway, this is just suggesting that the hero dies when they fall from the observatory, even though they're a fucking angel, so they're technically already dead. Level 5 allowed for government testing on their tag mode. I couldn't find anything for this, so this could also be made up, but I'm not sure. How did Corvus fall from the observatory? I went to the wiki to look this up, and supposedly, by what the wiki says, Corvus and the hero fell from the observatory in a similar fashion, but I'm not sure how. How could the whole game fit into a small cartridge? This is something I was wondering for a long time as well, since the cartridges usually don't have a lot of space in them, which is what caused limits for most of the previous games that had similar types of issues, like Nintendo 64, which, looking at how much data the cartridge could hold, it ranges from 64 megabits to 4 gigabits, aka 8 to 512 megabytes. But somehow the game only comes up to about, for me, 174 megabytes. And this is surprising since you'd think that the game was about probably 4 gigabits, but apparently not. The Tower of Trades can cause psychological effects. This is the final entry, and yet I could not find anything that would mention what this means. Like, I tried, I looked up whatever I could to see what this means, but I don't know. I even played this part already and I have no clue what it means by this. So sadly, this is another entry that is unexplainable. And here we are, the end. But it's not over yet, as I've yet to add my own entries. Remember part 1? Well, thanks to all of the research that I did, I was able to think of a few entries to add to the iceberg. You can interact with Stella. While most people know that Stella can talk to you, and you can talk to Stella, you can also try to touch her, to which she will react by moving out of the way. How are Celestians created? While it is explained why the Celestians exist, it isn't explained how they were created, to my knowledge. Guardian class glitch. This refers to the fact that there is a glitch in the game that can allow the player to keep the Celestian classing, and it is referred to as the Guardian class. Celestians are Zenithians. I just happened to see this, but the Celestians are similar to the Zenithians from earlier in the series. What happened to Brigadoon? The kingdom was sacrificed as an offering to Yor, a creature who was sealed in a coffin underneath Stornway to protect the town. Hexagon's origins. It is relatively unknown what the first boss's origins are. Celestians are a cult. This goes off of how Pavo was left after everyone else ascended to the stars, and could be trying to keep Celestians alive. Falcon Slash times 2. This is just the fact that you can equip either the Falcon Earrings or the Falcon Blade, and you can double the number of hits you deal with the Falcon Slash and deal more damage. How does Marionette end up at the gravestone in the end credits? In the end credits, Marionette is seen at Marion's gravestone and is taken back to her room. The Yggdrasil leaves are signs that people are dying in universe. In Dragon Quest XI, it is noted that the leaves of Yggdrasil are there to show the lives that it bears, and if a leaf falls, then supposedly a life has ended. Okay, here we are, the end of the iceberg. This is quite the journey, honestly. Seeing how I was going through the whole situation of dealing with high school, graduating, moving to Texas and back to my original hometown, gaining a lot of followers on Twitch, and eventually here, finally finishing the iceberg, which I'm so happy was doing well, seeing how part 1 got 654 views and 19 likes, part 2 got 202 views and 5 likes, part 3 got 48 views and 2 likes, part 4 got 88 views somehow and 0 likes, and eventually this part, which I hope will do as good as the rest of the series. On top of that, I hit the 10 subscribers mark a few times. Currently I'm back down to 8, but I hope you enjoyed the series as much as I did making it. I hope you'll like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you later. Maybe comment what you want to see from me in the future videos. And with that, I am out.
And again, just a big thank you to those that rewatched this new re-upload. I just genuinely enjoyed this series and I really enjoyed this video, and I hope you did too.